Howdy and welcome. Yeah, this is another update on the open top or ROUTEMASTER, or the rebuild, or the rewind, or the unbuild ROUTEMASTER, whatever you want to call it. So basically, a long time ago now, I actually bought a ROUTEMASTER just before Christmas, one of the old Hachette ROUTEMASTERs, and this guy built it and unfortunately passed away. His widow didn't want it, so she passed it on to somebody else. This somebody else passed it on to somebody else, and then they didn't want it. His wife said it's going to end up on in the garden or in the garage, and so he says, right, he said, I'm going to put it on Facebook Marketplace. That's where I found it, and it was a complete model. Apart from it being built very, very badly. So unfortunately, the old guy that had built it, he'd put several wrong screws in wrong places, and he'd not tightened anything up properly, and so it was just really all loose, and it wasn't built together properly. So I thought, well, what can I do? And I thought, well, I'll make a little show out of it, and I'll make so I'm going to be making one of these up there, a open top ROUTEMASTER, and like you've seen when I go off camera, so I'm going to be making one of them. So, and it's going to be through the East Yorkshire company, so the East Yorkshire buses, and they've sponsored the paint for me, which is I'm very grateful about that. Thank you very much, East Yorkshire buses. So, and I'm looking for somebody to do the transfers, so the large East Yorkshire down each side, and then the kite mark and the East Yorkshire in gold and what have you, all on this model. So if anybody knows anybody that can do it in transfers, or water slide transfers, in 1/12 scale, that would be brilliant. So if not, you know, I'll find somebody one day that'll be able to do it, no problem. So right, well, as you can see behind me, I've only got like the bottom deck really. So, and that's because the top deck is right here on the bench beside me. And what I'm going to do is try and get all the plastic parts off, and then I'm going to get it into some sort of order where I can actually mark it to say, well, it wants cutting there, or whatever's. And so I'm deconstructing it, and then I'm going to be cutting it and welding bits on and what have you, and then I'm going to be constructing it, and then I'm going to be painting it. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do, yeah, I mean, this part works normally takes a year, 2 years, or 2.5 years when you're building it normally. Me and my wife, we built two that was painted, and that took us 3 years, so each for them two. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. Okay, well, I've got a few people in the comments, so let's go to the comments. We've got Mary Oglesby. Hi again, everyone. Hello, ma'am. Thanks for joining, and she's putting their evening to all in chat as well tonight. So evening. So Dave McBill says good evening again, and so Dave said good luck with your build tonight. Thank you for that, Dave Mac. We've got Yorkshire Crafter. Yorkshire Crafter says hi again, everyone. Hi, Yorkshire Crafter. We've got Gillian Milne, and she says evening again, everyone. Evening, Gillian. And then we've got Crafty Chris saying hello again. Hello, darling. So, and then we've got a Facebook user that says hello, Dave. It's Stuart here. Hi, Stuart. Thanks for joining. And yeah, let's hope you can enjoy the show. I'm sorry, I'm using my teeth for sorting them out for a horse, I think. So right, I've started your comments, Stuart. So I'm going to move on quite quickly, and I'm going to show what we're down to now with this bus, and we're going to crack on a bit and see if we can get it deconstructed. Don't forget, of course, that it's got to be deconstructed to have some work done on it, and then it's got to be reconstructed back together again. So there's a lot of work. Okay, so settings and my camera, and here we go. So there we go. So this is the upper deck. You'll see that this is where the little boy was stuck on the seat there. So, and it's pulled off the pattern on the seat, but that's no worry, because these are representing maquette seats, and in an open top bus it would not have had maquette seats, it would have had leather seats. So what I'm going to do is find some paint that looks like leather, and I'm going to repaint every one of the seats to make them look like the leather seats. Okay, so that's one thing. I'm going to repaint the floor because the floor is totally the wrong color. And then, as I said before, we've got some cutting and shutting to do on this. So you know that it has like an interior plastic and then an exterior metal. So all the interior plastic wants cutting from about here, I think it is somewhere. So all that from the front that way wants keeping, all that to the back wants getting rid of, and that's because all these windows want to come out as well, apart from the back ones, and they want cutting properly to move up to these two front ones here. So the two back windows, one will be going that side and one will be going this side. So, and they'll be put in there. So and that's as per the model was, as per the open top ROUTEMASTER was. Well, I did a little bit of work on this the other night, and I got all the electrics off it. And as you'll see when I turn it over, I've got it really loose, so I'm being quite cautious. So yeah, all the electrics are all off it now. And as you know, the front end here at the cab, the driver's cab in the roof, it had quite a lot of electrics. So I took them all off, and that's because I want to get all this plastic work off and then get it down to a framework. So what I might have to do, I might have to take the sides off, then take the seats off, and then construct the sides back onto it again, so I can mark out where it wants cutting, and then I can mark out separately on the plastic bits where they want cutting. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to try and take off as much as what we can to try and deconstruct it, and then we'll probably try and get it back together again. In my little short video that I did just a few minutes ago, telling you what I was doing, it appears that the guy has used several wrong types of screws to fix this together, or to get it to actually, he's used plastic screws where there should be metal screws, he's used metal screws where there should be plastic screws, and so on and so forth. So he really has not looked at the instructions properly, unfortunately. And you know, you can't blame the guy, because you know, he might have been blind or something, or you know, that elderly and frail that he thought he was doing a good job, but bless him. I mean, thankfully I've not come across anything that's been seriously bodged or glued or anything yet, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can work out everything that is done, and I can obviously get it all apart, and then I can work on its construction. So what I'm going to do then, the front here is only held on by a couple of screws, so I'm going to take them off, and I'm going to take the front end off and see if I can get the destination bland off as well, because the destination bland is actually wrong. So, and that wants to come out as the destination bland, and yeah, there's only a couple of screws that's holding that in. Oops, drop my screwdriver, that won't help it. There we go. So that's got that front end off. Okay, and if you remember, the front end looks like that. So it's quite a simple panel, really. It's not too bad. So and then we've got the destination bland, and I want to try and get that out of the way as well. I'm using the Partwork Upgrades cushion that was kindly donated to me by D Harris and Max Modz through Ian at Partwork Upgrades. And this Partwork Upgrades cushion is lovely for this sort of job, because it's just nice and soft to be working on. So yeah, it's very good indeed. So I do suggest that you actually get one from Partwork Upgrades. And coming soon as well from Partwork Upgrades will be some some ROUTEMASTER covers. So yeah, I've got some of them on order, and I'm looking forward to them actually, because I'm thinking that they're going to be something kind of special, and we'll do a review on them when they arrive. So, and as I say, I'm looking forward to that as well. Okay, can we get that screw out there? Let's see if we can. See if we can deconstruct this as much as possible, and see if we can get it to come apart. I'm not that fussed about the screws at the moment. A lot of the screws in the plastic parts are right, and they don't seem as though they've been de-threaded or anything like that, so I'm quite happy about that. There we are. There's the destination blind off. I don't know if you can remember the destination blind and all its workings. That's all off in one foul swoop. And because I won't need the London destination on it, of course, I'll need something more applicable to this area, like Bridlington, Scarborough, Hornsey, Withensea, something like that on the east coast of England. So where we are, more or less. Right. Let's see if I can actually get this off now. So I'll see what's holding it on. So if I go quiet, it just means I'm trying to figure out why it's actually sticking and why it isn't actually coming off. So I might have to turn it over a few times. Oh. Let's see if we can get it apart. Of course, all this framework will have to come off, and we've got to cut it as well. So we've got to be quite careful that we take everything with us that we need when it comes apart. So yeah, I've got an idea, and I think what I'll do is I'll use my idea and I'll take this whole side off as a one piece. So while we're chatting, I'm going to start unscrewing. So some of these screws is used, bless him, which should have been metal screws. He's used the plastic screws, the JPs and what have you. So, and you won't be able to see that thread on there, but that is a JP screw that is screwed into metal. So the threads are actually all right in the metal. It's just that, you know, they obviously haven't gone in very tight. So anyway, not to worry. I'm sure that we'll be able to sort this problem out eventually. And you might see one or two of the windows are actually cracked as well. They're cracked badly in places. Well, we don't actually want these windows. We only want the front two windows, the front two side windows, and the two back windows. And I've actually got a new issue for the one back window that's dulled off. So we don't need any other windows. We've got them all. So yeah, I spent about an hour and a half messing around with it the other night while we was talking on screen to our friends, and I managed to get it to the part where I am now, where I knew it wouldn't take long to actually get it to a part where we can actually deconstruct it quite a lot. So yeah, and of course we've got to do this to obviously cut the metal part. So this is the complete side, and just to prove, so there's the back, there's the front. So there's is the complete side, and obviously all that's metal. So what I'm going to do is try and get the plastic out now and see what's holding it in. And I can see instantly at the front end here, oh, and at the middle. So the middle is glued it there. There's an awful lot of glue there that is tried gluing it, and at the front end here is tried to glue it as well. Hopefully that won't matter, because we won't be keeping much of that in the construction. You won't see that anyway, because most of these window bars are going to be cut out. I think we're keeping it up to about there, and then we're putting the curved part of the window bar in there. So that's the way it's going to work. All I've got to do is work out what else is holding this together. At the moment, it's a bit of tape. Yes, it's a bit of tape. Let's see if we can undo that bit of tape and see where we can get from there. I don't think there's much holding it in. I don't want to break anything, but I obviously want to get it out as best as I can. So I might turn it over even. Let's have a look at the other side. Gently, gently turn it over. So I'm sorry if you're commenting and I'm not responding to your comments, but I will get back to that in a minute. If you've had anything to do with this model, you'll know how big and cumbersome and awkward it is to work on, especially when you're trying to talk as well. So it's not very easy. So that's into metal, that's in metal. There's no plastic ones there, no plastic ones there, no plastic ones there. No, they're all metal. So what I may do then is try and unscrew them, see if we can get it to move. So that'll mean that I have to cut, you know, twice, obviously, which is okay, twice on each side. And as long as the cuts are nice and even, we'll be able to get somewhere, won't we? These are all loose, and that's because they'll all be JPs. Yeah, is that coming out now? That one, come on, up you come. That's that one, I think. That's that one. Yeah, I want to get it off to see if he's actually glued the other part. So there's the other side. So that's the front going on right along to the back. And you can see the back dulled windows. Don't worry about that, guys, because I've got new windows for that. So, right, that's that side. And all we've got to do now is, it'll come apart because there was nothing holding it. There was no screws. So that is the interior plastic parts, and this is going to be quite easy because as I say, I have a Dremel, and I will be clamping this somewhere where I can get to it nicely, and I'm going to be just cutting across where I need to cut across, and then same at the back here, because we actually need this round bit here. And in actual fact, it would probably be better if I took right down the center there. So let me get my pen, see if I can mark it. Let's see if I can find my pen. I don't think I'm going to be able to find my pen somehow. I think it's gone walkabout. Oh, there it is. So if I move this over here, I am going to need right down the center here, cutting. So down the center, and then I'm going to need it cutting off across the bottom here. And what I might do is I might give it a little to see what's in there, in the rib there. So, and I might line it up to cut right across from the rib inside. So going across that way like that. So it's got plenty to hold on to. So then I'll be cutting off this section here, and then I'll do exactly the same at this section here, and we'll go in between the two like that, and we'll cut down there, and then we'll be cutting down here in the exact way where we did the back one, so that it all fits in nicely. So, and it's got strength like through these screws and everything, and you know, we'll get some nice bonding material to bond it. And then of course this one will actually be the curved window one when this one comes out. So, and that will mean then that let's get this one out of this packet and I'll show you what I mean. I can open this packet. So don't want to come out of the packet because it's a new box. I took this one out of this packet and then showed you a close-up of this one. So on this one, which is the model, you can see that it's got a curved window there which is attached to this window. So that's what we'll be cutting out of the back window there, and we'll be popping it in there to be exactly the same as that. So the front window is the normal front window, which is back here, and then that is actually the back window that's attached to it. So, and then the back construction will be totally different. I've already actually got the back panel off and ready to cut So yeah, that's the same on each side. Look, so we've got the normal front windows, and then the front window there, and then this back window is actually added to there. So that's the way it's going to that's the way it's going to look. And then of course there'll be a slightly higher bar all the way along, and that's actually going to have a handrail on as well. So because it's a bit too small to have a handrail on a 176 scale model like this, but on a 112 scale model there's plenty of room for a handrail, no problem whatsoever. So I'm pretty good at scratch building things like that, no problem. So as I said earlier, I need these water slide transfers, the East Yorkshire in the big gold and black lettering, the little white lettering, okay, that's in the windows there. It says www.eyms.co.uk, so I need them, and I'm going to need the legal lettering, okay, and I'm going to need the gold East Yorkshire up here. I'm going to need the I keep calling it a flag, it's not a flag, it's a kite. So I'm going to need the kite, and then there's a little kite at the front here. There's an East Yorkshire on the red band. There's 812 for its fleet number, and I haven't actually got its registration number yet, but I need its registration number, which is ALM 65B. And for the other side, I'm going to need the East Yorkshire in gold, and the www.eyms on the windows. At the 812, its fleet number. On the back, I'm going to need the www.eyms.co.uk in gold. I'm going to need the East Yorkshire in gold there, which is just on that maroon band. I'm going to need its registration number, its fleet number, and then that sign there is a bus is pulling out. Please let buses pull out sign. That one is. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to need quite a few transfers, but it's going to be worthwhile when it's done. So paint. What about paint? Well, I've actually got the paint. The paint actually arrived yesterday, and as you know, they gave me the painted East Yorkshire buses, and I sent samples off and what have you to my paint company, and they've made it into spray cans and everything, and it has cost me a little bit, but it is going to be very, very worth it, because this color is absolutely superb. So it's made by Rainbow Manor, and I'm not telling you the exact color scheme because I don't want you to it's like going to be my pattern, really. And so you know, if you want to build one of these in East Yorkshire color, then you'll have to find out for yourselves, unfortunately, because there is some trade secrets that I'm not going to give away. Okay, so, and I hope you'll respect me for that as well, because obviously you know, these things aren't easy, and otherwise we'd have lots of all the same buses, and that would be a boring world, wouldn't it? So hopefully this will be a one-off, the same as what my other tools one-off, our other two models, you know, the Shillabere one and the East Yorkshire maroon and cream one. Sorry, the blue and cream one. So yeah, they're one-offs. So right, we've got that bit sorted, and I've got a rough idea of where these want cutting. There will be you know, I won't be using these lines, don't worry guys. I will be using a more preferred method. It was just to show you guys where I'm actually going to cut these and where I want this bit here at the back. So yeah, I'm not that rough with it. So I just want to talk a minute about the framework here. The framework here is, as you can see, if I put it that way, perhaps. Where's the joint? So the joint's back there. So the joint's really loose. So bless him. You're probably seeing there that the joint is absolutely loose. So yeah, it's it just definitely wants strengthening up. So, but that's not too bad actually. You know, I can strengthen that up. And as far as that's concerned, we don't need to do anything else with that at all. The in between the decks framework. So that's absolutely perfect. All I need to do is tighten that up It's got a few screws missing actually. So that's going to be another appeal to you guys. If you have any spare screws left over from the old ROUTEMASTER build, especially the M type screws, the black ones, so EMs, FMs, etc. I probably could do with some, because it looks like he's used JP screws right throughout the build. So I'm going to need some M type screws. So if you've got any spare, I don't mind purchasing them off you, or postage or anything like that, let me know, and I'll get in touch with you and I'll reimburse your postage, or I'll be willing to buy off you at a reasonable amount, just the screws, so I can actually get this back together, because I have got a few, but not that many. Okay, so that's going to be the idea, is that I'm going to strengthen that up with the new screws, the proper screws, that is. I don't need to do anything else with it apart from the metal sides. I'll just move that a second. The metal sides, once I've taken the windows out of this, then I can get down to cutting it. Okay, and I don't actually have to have it all in one lump to actually cut it. I can do it in sections, because I know where these sections go. There's only 3 sections here, so I need to take the windows out first to try and save them as much as I can, and then I'm going to start cutting them, the frames. So the center frame here, that's going to be very simple, because that's just a straight cut pretty much along that bottom lip there of the windows. So that will be cut along there. This one, the end section, this will be cut along the bottom lip, and then it'll go straight up there, because we need to cut this section out here to keep for the front. So I need to be very accurate with that cut. So and again, this cut here down here, I'll have to be very accurate with that cut as well. So, but the way these are constructed is that you've got a joint here, so that's going to work out very well for that joint, because there's only 2 sides to cut. And then again here, there is only 2 sides to cut here. There's one down there and one straight across there. I mean, because this frame here is actually coming out entirely. So all I've got to do really is 4 cuts per each side. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. 4 cuts for each side. So that's all I need to do. So as I said the other day, I've got a Dremel, and I've got some cutting discs and everything, and there is absolutely no reason at all that I can't take this section off here by these 2 screws, this section off here by these 2 screws, and then I can take them separately into my workshop, pop them in the vise, once I've got the windows out, of course, pop them in the vise, and then I can work at them at an easier angle, shall we say, and there's nothing leaning on any desk or nothing in the way, that's going to harm anything, especially if it's in my workshop. And then I can, as I say, I can Dremel cut down where it needs to be very accurately indeed. So, and I've actually got cut lines as well, so it's going to be more easier than you think. So the hardest part perhaps is going to be the plastic parts, because I don't know actually how brittle these plastic parts are until I touch it with my Dremel, of course. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm actually going to strip this down a little bit further. So I'm actually going to try and take one complete side off, and if that works okay, then I will Dremel cut where I need to Dremel cut down these sides. Again, it's going to be quite easy, because we need to Dremel cut down here, across here, straight across here, because these 3 center windows can come out, and then it's going to be up there and cut this back center, this back section out, ready for going further up to the front. And as you'll notice, if I'm clever cutting it at the right gap down there, then it's going to marry up with the gap that's already there and the window pan as well. So if I take that body line down there as a cut line, so if I can draw on, then you can actually see it. So if I take that as a cut line there, if you can see that, I don't know whether you can, but that's just under that window ledge, and that means that all these screw places for the seats, they'll still remain there exactly the same, so we can still screw the seats to the sides of the framework. So it's actually quite easy. It's quite easy, and yes, it's good for me to say it's quite easy, but you know, this is one project that I now will be taking a lot of time over and a lot of care, because one false cut on here, guys, and then that's it, we've ruined it, haven't we? So we'd need extra parts, and with him gluing bits as well, this I can see that this section as a whole, I'll have to come out as one piece. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that all the screws are in. Yeah, they're in nice and tight, which I thought there was. Yeah, so they haven't stripped the screws or anything, so that's great. So they will come out lovely. Yes, they will. Just as I thought, the plastic parts have gone on really well with him. Apart from his joints, he's thought that, oh, I'll have to glue that joint there and that joint there, but in actual fact, he doesn't have to glue it at all, does he? So there's not much physically else I can do with this bit at the moment, apart from yes, I could take the side off, and if you want to hang around it while I'm taking the side off, you're quite welcome. But it's going to be boring undoing about 60 screws or so down each side. Anyway, we'll go and have a look at the chat, because I know that you guys have been chatting, and we'll see what you've been chatting about, shall we? Okay. So my chair nearly went about then. Right, so let's have a look. Goodness me. So Dave Matt Builds says, evening again, Mary and Yorkshire Crafter, and Gillian and Crafty Chris. And Gillian Mills says, evening, Dave Matt Builds. And let's move that over into the camera. So, and then we've got, where is it jumping? Don't know why. Come on. So we've got a guy from the 60s says, hi Dave, it's been lovely weather in Leeds today. Yes, it's been smashing weather here today as well, but yeah, I've been doing all sorts today. So I've got a bit of a busy weekend that I want to get on with a few projects, and hopefully I can get some progress done. So this weekend, yeah, it makes a change to be nice and dry in Leeds. And I do hear that it's going to be dry until Monday, and then it's going to pickle it down, I think. So Yorkshire Crafter says, hi Dave Matt Builds, and Nigel Branthwaite says, hi Dave and everyone. Hi Nigel. And then Dave Matt Builds says, hi Nigel. And then Facebook user says, what type of screwdriver are you using, Dave? Right, good question, if that's Stuart. So good question indeed. So these are Wera screwdrivers, WERA screwdrivers, and this is the PH0. So we've got PH0, PH00, and PH000. And Mark will know all about the PH000, because that's the baby Wera, isn't it, Mark? So we're not going to go there in a minute, but yeah. So generally, the shank on here is actually too long. We want the 40mm long shank, and the 40mm long shank are out of stock. So, but they are a brilliant screwdriver, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Wera, WERA, PH0. You do not want a PZ end. You want a PH, then a PH0 or a PH00 or a PH000. And the more zeros it's got behind it, the smaller the end would be. Okay. So yeah, just three of them screwdrivers, and as you can tell, I'm still using the Agora one as well. So that's the Agora screwdriver, or the Hachette screwdriver. They're absolutely identical. So they come in 2 sizes as well, and the size for this one would be PH0, and the size for the smaller one would be PH000. Okay, so I hope that helps, Stuart. All right. Okay, so let's look down here. Where was we? Goodness me. Nigel Branthwaite says, hi Dave, Matt Builds and Crafty Chris and Yorkshire Crafter. And then we've got Ian Campbell. Evening all. Hi Ian, thanks for joining. And Dave Matt Builds says that hi Ian Campbell. Yorkshire Crafter says that hi Nigel Branthwaite and Ian Campbell. And Nigel Branthwaite says that hi Ian Campbell. And D Harris says that good evening again Dave and all in chat, good evening. And Dave Mac Bill says good evening D Harris says evening again Dave Mac. And Ian Campbell says hey D Harris. And D Harris says Ian Campbell, a good evening to you sir. And Ian Campbell says all good D, you. And D Harris says Ian Campbell, all good as can be mate. Brilliant. And then Stuart Sullivan says thanks Dave. No, you're welcome. I don't mind any questions like that. It's not a problem. Some people use them Aria things, and there's that many ends to them, you get confused. So we just want a normal, a normal, you know. And what's a normal screw? Get a normal screwdriver for goodness sake. Get one that fits the job. You know, get a PH0 or a 00 or a 000, and that's the only 3 screwdrivers you need. You don't need masses of millions of screwdriver ends that get you all confused and what have you. So yeah, and they fit absolutely wonderful in these screws. They really do, with them PHs and not PZs, because at the end of the day they're not PZ screws. So Stuart Sullivan says best wishes, Stuart. Oh no, thank you. Oh, hang on, we've jumped a bit here. In fact, we've jumped a lot, haven't we? So I'm going to have to go there. There we are. So D Harris, Ian Campbell, all good mate, and Stuart Sullivan says thanks Dave. And Stuart Sullivan says best wishes Stuart. No, thank you ever so much for asking. I appreciate that. Right, I'll stay your comment and we'll go a little bit further, shall we? Okay, to those of you who are a bit late to the party with this, this is the bus that I picked up just before Christmas, and I was actually thinking about, I knew it had a couple of problems, but I didn't realize it had that many problems that it's got. So that's when I had the idea of making it into an open topper, and that's because it's obviously much easier to convert it into something that you want, rather than go right back to step 1 and restoring everything from step 1. So it's actually done quite a good job of getting all the screws in under here for the seats and everything, which is really good. It doesn't seem to have had any problem with the plastic parts at all, apart from the metal parts, of course. And I think I've shown you that side. Yeah, it's glued that side the same. Let's have a look at this side. And this side hasn't been glued in that center there. I think it's been glued at the front, yeah. And I think it's been glued somewhere back here. No, it hasn't. No, I'm thinking of the other side. So when we're thinking about an open topper, we're not going to need any of this at all in the center here, and right to the back here really. We're going to need the interior panel in here, which is going to be the rounded bit. And so obviously some of this interior paneling could in actual fact be painted a different color if I wished, and so could the seats, you know. And so if you can suggest any color for leather seats and leather back seats as well, because look, they've got all them nasty horrible screws in the back, look, so we could probably do with them painting as well, because at the end of the day an open top bus would not have had maquette, that's cloth seats in it at all. It would have had leather. So yeah, and then I've noticed something else when I've had it like this, and that is this front panel here, the destination panel, has actually been glued in as well. So I may have to take the sides off each side and then paint each individual seat by getting them out one or the other, if I can't actually get around these, like these front seats for instance, because of the destination panel that probably won't come off. So yeah, so gluing it's okay if it's needed, but if it's not needed, then why glue it? And there wasn't many little bits that we glued on this model, if I remember rightly, from 2-3 years ago. So there was very minimal bits that we glued. Does it mean that I'll have some spare parts? Yes, I'll have some spare parts, but I'd much rather keep the spare parts for the time being, and that's in case any one of our others has an accident. At least I'll have some, you know, some roof bits for it then, or some windows, or some sliders, or whatever. So at the moment there won't be any spare bits available, but that isn't to say that there might be some available once I've finished the build. So okay, I'd like to show you the bottom half as well, but I can't get it on the physically can't get it on my table at the moment. But the bottom half, I want to take the body off the chassis, and there is some problems that is not being able to get the body on the chassis properly, and there could be some wiring problems as well. So I want to look through all that once I've sorted out the cuts for this. So once I've cut this, it's just a case of painting, and that'll be the same with these sides as well. Once I've got them cut in the right shape and the right place and everything, then it's just a case of painting. So, and then obviously before I cut and before I paint, all these windows are going to come out as well. So because obviously I don't want them marked too much for the ones that I want to keep, and for the spares as well. So you may be wondering where the steps are. Well, they came out with the back end of the bus, which is all here. So they came out with the back end of the bus, and that's the framework over the back end. So that's the part of the framework, and then that's the plastic part of the framework. This plastic part of the framework, this mirror's got to be moved, I think, and then we've got to actually shape this down at each corner, across each of the corners, and then we've got to actually build up both these bits here to be a little bit wider. As somebody pointed out before, the East Yorkshire one only had bars across the back, but this is going to have the back emergency window and just this corner across the back of this model. Okay, because it's a little bit easier, and it gives me a bit more strength in the model as well, rather than just bars running across. And then further down the model, of course, we're going to have bars running down the model, handrails, that will strengthen it up a little bit as well, because you've got to think that the sides aren't going to be on it, so the roof isn't going to be on it, so it's not got no strength from like 3/4 of the way up. So I need to devise something that will strengthen everything up to stop it flexing so much. I'm hoping that once they get glued into the right place, the windows cut and the bars put in, etc., and then screwed back onto the sides of the bus, that'll strengthen it all up again. So I'm hoping that'll work, because there is going to be like a narrow bar that runs just under here to strengthen all this on the inside. Okay, just to strengthen all that on the inside. So which will be it'll be like aralditing into place, you know, with some really strong glue. So in actual fact, it'll be JB weld that I'm going to be using. So yeah, that's real expensive stuff, so that you can glue metal with, metal to metal. So yeah, I've got a guy to thank for this, and that's Clint Hancock in the group. Clint has shown me many tips and hints of what to do with this and where to cut and how to do it. So yeah, I'm very grateful to Clint for that. And you want to see his models, what he's doing to them is absolutely genius. It really is. So, and this will be a one-off, and it'll be a showpiece, and it'll be taken to the shows that we go to with our others as well. So yeah, you'll probably see it at some point along the way. Okay, have I got anything else to tell you? Not right now, I don't think, unless anybody's got any other questions. So let's go through all these. Geordie Dave says hi all. Hi Geordie Dave, thanks for joining. Nigel Branthwaite says hi Geordie Dave. Ian Campbell says hi Geordie Dave. Geordie Dave says, come on, click. Geordie Dave says, hi, Nigel. And Geordie Dave says, hi, Ian Campbell. Geordie Dave says, brown. Yeah, brown. I suppose you could do the seats brown. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I suppose you could. Stuart Sullivan says oxblood red for the leather to match the lower deep red of the bust. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oxblood red. Yeah. And of course that's an old colour is oxblood red, isn't it? So Stuart Sullivan said, just a thought, Dave. Stuart, yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate that. And then my mum says, good show, thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up, everybody, if you don't mind, please. Thank you. And like, share, and subscribe in the normal manner. So, progress, I don't think there's going to be any progress other than that for now. Rather than, say, bore you with taking out hundreds of screws, I'd rather do that off camera and show you what I'm near to doing and show you some progress. So tomorrow night, I am going to be doing an update on the Southend Transport Routemaster. And I'm just going to show you something very quickly. And hopefully it may get finished by tomorrow night, but it's not finished yet. So, oh, look at that. There's a splash of blue. Yeah, splash of blue. And this, where the grey is going to be white, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So that's a quick flash of what's coming up tomorrow. So I'm actually doing the Southend Routemaster tomorrow night for an update. And I might be doing about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour build on it as well. So that'll be coming up tomorrow night at 8 o'clock or round about that time, 7:30 time, 8 o'clock, something like that. Okay. Stuart Sullivan says thumbs up. Thank you, Stuart. And Dave McBill says hi again at Geordie Dave. So Stuart Sullivan has actually got a mutual friend of mine as well on his Facebook, which is actually connected to my family, which I didn't know till the other day. So anyway, yeah, it's into motorbikes and such like. Is my family member that you know. So that'd be quite interesting to know. So yeah. It's a small world, Stuart. So, yeah, even though it doesn't, well, I suppose it lives about 15 miles from here, something like that. So not very far. Right. Okay. So I'm going to put myself back on camera again. And come on, camera, move. Okay. So there we are. I'm actually sweating at this point. I really am. So as you know, I've just been on with Christine and already Stobbard. And yeah, she's back up and running with the Ready Stobbard again, so thank goodness for that. So and I think I've run through the diary on that with her. So and I'll say that I'm on tomorrow night, either 7:30 or 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and that will be with the blue Southend Transport Routemaster through Agora Models, of course. So and yeah, I just wanted to show you some progress. And it's got me moving as well. So now I'm going to take some of these parts, strip them down even further, and then take the bits that I need to take into the workshop, and then I'll be doing some cutting and shutting in the workshop, and then hopefully I'll bring it back to show you how far I've got and everything on another update at another time. So I hope that's okay with you all, because it's obviously difficult doing it. You know, taking things apart is not too bad, but when you're going to be cutting and shutting and gluing and what have you, then I need it to be absolutely right. So, and it's difficult to do very live. So okay, so where did I get to? I got to there. So Stuart says it is indeed, Dave. Yes, a small world. So and Dave McBill says hi again, Geordie Dave. And Dave McBill says, great show tonight, Dave. Thank you very much. I much appreciate that. I think I've gassed on enough now, so I'm going to let somebody else have a go. And I'm going to say to you, thank you ever so much for watching. And if you haven't already, press the like button. And if you haven't already, click the bell, which is the notification of another video that will come out automatically. And if you haven't already, also join our Facebook groups as well, because we've got loads of Facebook groups that we're attached with in our community. So we've got Build the ROUTEMASTER model 112 scale, and we've got miniature buses 112 scale and larger. We've got Build the Eddie Stobbart 112 scale truck Twiggy in brackets. We've got DS Models and Vintage, which is its own Facebook group, and we've got Harsher Titanic 1 to 200 scale. And they're all Facebook groups that all of us in the community are joined into. All of us in the community are down there in the description, so give them a look and a subscribe and a like as well, because they'd appreciate that. And yeah, I think that's about all I've got to add, really, other than I'll add this one by saying thank you all for your support. Please like, share, subscribe in the usual manner. Thank you. And to those of you who are subscribing in any other way, thank you very much, because I really do appreciate it. And yeah, we're getting quite an awful lot done now. And yeah, there's quite an awful lot to do, isn't there? So Nigel Branthwaite says, thanks, Dave. Did enjoy your live chat. Thank you. Thank you very much. And D Harris says, nice update, Dave. See you tomorrow night. Yeah, see you tomorrow night, D. Thank you. And D says, good night to all in chat. See you tomorrow night. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm going to knock that banner off because it's a bit, it drives you nuts, doesn't it? So, and I'm going to go back to my brand, and I'm going to say thank you ever so much for joining tonight. Much appreciate it. And watch out now for tomorrow night's show. And yeah, I'll give you a little bit of progress report on the blue Southend ROUTEMASTER via Agora Models. So thank you. So all and it remains for me to say now, thank you for joining, and good night, take care, God bless, and peace now, everyone.